This has not been a great year for NBA owners in general. We saw Donald Sterling forced out of the league, extremely racist comments. Now the Atlanta Hawks owner is selling his team. He wrote in an email basically, this team has too many black fans, which is very disturbing. And the Hawks GM, Danny Ferry, was reported with his own racist comments.
He's got some African in him, if that makes sense. Like, he has a storefront out front that's beautiful and great, but he may be selling some counterfeit stuff behind you.
Danny was a GM when I was there in Cleveland, and I never got that sense about him. But that doesn't mean, you know, what he said about Luau Deng was right. It's absolutely wrong. It's very insensitive, and there's no room for that in our sport. I mean, we all know that. Obviously, there's not no room for that in our league or any league or not even a league. It's not room for that in society.
You spoke out on the Sterling issue, and you were also outspoken on Trayvon Martin.
Yes.
How has your willingness to take a leadership role in those kinds of things changed as you've gotten older?
Well, for me, if I feel passionate about it and I feel like something needs to be said or something needs to be done, I voice my opinion. And I don't speak without knowledge. I educate myself first before I dive into a situation.
We've had the incidents in Ferguson, Missouri in the past few months.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Aside from the specifics of the situation, it did spark this national conversation on the way America sees young black men. What do you think about where we are right now?
Well, I definitely voiced my opinion on the Trayvon Martin piece, and you know, and I related to the Ferguson incident. I mean, having two boys of my own, if just one day, you know, my kids left home to go anywhere, you know, you expect your kids to return. You expect your kids to return home unless they're off to college. I couldn't imagine them not returning home because of someone else's, I don't know, just not thinking or cowardly act or whatever the case may be. You know, but we know racism is still alive, and you know, the only thing that I can do as a role model, I feel like I'm a leader in society, is to just to teach my kids and teach the people that follow me what the right way is.
You're a big football fan.
I am.
Your boys love football.
Yes, they do.
You had, I imagine, the same problem every parent in America had over the last month. The Ray Rice video comes out, and you got to talk to your kids about it, right?
I left it just as simple as this. Never put your hand on a woman. Never put your hand on your classmate that's a female. It's not allowed, it's not condoned in this house, and it shouldn't be condoned in this world. And your dad would never put his hand on your mother. When I was born, that was like a rule that was written on my bib. I knew from day one it's not something that anyone should condone, and it's a cowardly act.
You have two boys, they do play basketball, and your oldest has already started getting a lot of attention.
Too much.
You were on the cover of Sports Illustrated as a teenager, and you didn't have a father who was the most famous basketball player in the world. How do you guide him through what is about in the next few years?
Right,
this
and
is
that's going to be the tough
thing.
part. Like you said, Rachel, how do I guide him? There's no, and you can go to Borders or, you know, and find books on parenting. There's no booklet or no one can tell you on how to raise your kids. And, you know, every single day it's always challenging. And for my kids, it's even more challenging because their dad is famous. But I feel like the morals and the goals and the things that I teach them, I just want to lay the path for them and let them, at the end of the day, make their own decision, you know. And hopefully the way that I've been teaching them will, when they get to a fork in the road, they will know what's right and not go left.
You've talked about how important being a dad is to you, and you've been open about the fact that that's partly because you didn't know your father growing up. You want to be the opposite. I was still pretty surprised, I got to tell you, to see your Instagram post from earlier this year. You basically wrote a note to your dad. And you said, you know what, I don't know you, I have no idea who you are, but because of you is part of the reason I am who I am today. The fuel that I use, you not being there, it's part of the reason I grew up to become who I am. What made you decide to go out like that?
I don't know, but I think it's the truth. I think, you know, my whole life growing up, I think I just kind of always said, why me? You know, why me? Why didn't my dad want to be around? I feel like I'm a pretty cool kid, I'm a good kid, why wouldn't he want to be around for me? And then as I got older and kind of had my own family, I started to think, you know, the reason he wasn't there is the reason why I became so strong mentally, so loving to my mother. And I am who I am today because he wasn't there, because I use it as motivation. Everything that I've gained he has a role in that because I used it.
Have you ever thought, as you've gotten older, maybe what if? Should I explore a relationship with him?
I mean, of course, the what if situation has definitely popped in my head, but you know, I think I'm good where I am.
Well, with everything you've got ahead of yourself, basketball, new baby on the way, you're getting to raise your family in Ohio. Is there a word or two that comes to mind as you think about what's ahead?
Wow, I mean, that's a great question. One word that I can describe what's ahead is faith. I have faith in myself, faith in my family, faith in my community, and Northeast Ohio, the whole state of Ohio. I hold a huge responsibility to myself to understand that me playing the game of basketball is much bigger than me dribbling or dunking or making a game-winning shot. So the whole word faith is the #1 thing I can kind of use for the very near future.